we're going to get into somebody else calling out names. Yvette Nicole Brown, she had some smoke for a Kardashian. We're going to get into that. Yvette Nicole Brown and Kim Whitley had smoke when TMZ caught them. Shout out to Blair Moon, that's the TMZ reporter that rolled up on them and talked to them about Khloé Kardashian coming out and having, some smoke for LA City Mayor Karen Bass on her multi million followed Instagram account, right? So Yvette and Kim wisely pointed out that there's a great deal of misinformation out there, like there is in our chat right now, our YouTube chat, which is always popping and bubbling. We have Prester John in the chat saying, cutting public services, I thought that was the role of Republicans. Why is Karen Bass doing the work of conservatives? That's misinformation, right? First. Second, the water just, this is just a side. We're not getting into this because we're here for the entertainment portion. But I just want to share that, first of all, if all the reservoirs were filled maximum capacity, right? And a fire of this magnitude hit, right? Like 9,000 fires breaking out at once. And all of the hydrants in the city are connected to these. And they're all being hit at once for water, for all of these intense fires. What do you think's going to happen? Right? So, and they're dropping water fast. The water pressure is going to go down. But, that's one thing. Two, LA is a city within LA County. There are lots of cities within LA County. And within those cities within LA County, they have their own mayors. So, I'm just some of these, there's like Palisades sits on the line. Some of it is in LA City, some of it is in LA County. Listen, I am not, fully defending things. I'm saying that you have to take a closer look. There are a lot of things at play, and a conversation for another day. There's lots of things, lots of conspiracy theories floating around on all sides. Some of them make sense, some of them I don't know, some of them kind of don't know. Petrol arson, the electric company, the winds once it got started, ridiculous. I found in my backyard this weekend someone's cookbook. It was like not the entire cookbook, but pages from the cookbook, and it was burnt. I don't know how it reached my backyard, but it did. So, at any rate, let's get back on point. So, Karen Bass obviously has been receiving a lot of heat. Khloé put her 2 cents in, and Yvette Nicole Brown and Kim Whitley fired back. Then Yvette took to Instagram to follow up with her follow up because she wanted to, since we're calling out names, put Khloé on Front Street about how she could have done her part as well to make sure that the reserves weren't dry. She posted, Kardashians among LA's worst water wasters, using 333,000 gallons over the county limit just in June. This was from 2022, right? And it's just the tip of the iceberg. They weren't the only people named in this. There were a bunch of other people, but we were in a drought, mandatory orders about how and when we could water our lawns, etc., right? So Yvette posted and said, this is from 2022 when Los Angeles was in the midst of a drought. Every citizen was asked to conserve for the good of everyone else. Because of fires, this is how some citizens responded to the ask. Is this a joke, Khloé Kardashian? So, bam. Hit right back. Now, on one hand, we know it is not our individual responsibility as citizens to make sure that public works are working and for our benefit. However, it is our responsibility, just like with curfews or, rationing as far as public works, to do that. And the Kardashians didn't do that and didn't feel much about it, right? So is it fair? Does Khloé have a responsibility in stating her opinion to also provide facts since she has millions and millions and millions of followers? Or are people being too sensitive because it is a black woman and we know how hard out here it can be for black women in leadership roles? Are they being fair, or are they just kind of, coming to the defense because it's a sensitive area? Well, like I mentioned, the chat is already lighting it up. Prester John says, so did Bass also increase funding for law enforcement too? Or is this a myth? Wrong show, baby. Wrong show. No, we can talk about it. But listen, what I am saying is the facts are out there. You can go and get into it. But right now, tonight, what we're talking about is this aspect of it. And is it okay when you have a following that large to sort of be responsible with the words and information that you put out? And is it fair that Yvette clapped back with some actual facts about what Khloé and her family could have done to help make sure that we were in better position in the event something like this happens, which, as Andy mentioned, we have a fire season every year. Used to be an old joke. Fires, floods, earthquakes, and what was the other one? Riots. It was riots.
Mudslides.
Yeah. Okay.
For those who live in the mountains.
Yeah. In the foothills and stuff. Very true. So, Andy, you look like you were going to add something.
I mean, like, why are we holding any opinion that Khloé Kardashian has, as just valid, or why do we carry so much weight to it?
I don't know if it's so much that we carry weight to what she has to say. It is the logic, the rationale that her platform is so very, very large that if she's putting out misinformation, right, unchecked, then this is how these type of rumors and stuff gets perpetuated and floated down the line.
Here's the issue that I have. It seems like it's been going on for maybe past 2 years or so, is this whole thing about misinformation. There was a time growing up in school, once again, I always use this. They taught us about Christopher Columbus. Mm-hmm. So I'm supposed to open up a book, and that book is valid enough where it's true. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I could watch or listen to the news, and it's going to be misinformation spread.
I mean, it is true.
So how can I truly vet something?
That is true. But I guess, once again, it's two parts. It is the platform that Khloé holds, and in defense of not just Karen Bass, but, the fire chief, they have all been under attack. Many feel more so than if it were white men who have typically been in charge. I'm just saying what the people in the internet and social media are saying. I'm not saying that I, feel this way about every single part of it. But I do think that when it is a black woman, sometimes there is a particular venom that comes out. And I'm not saying that doesn't mean that there might not be points within that. But I think sometimes, they say people know who to play with. Right? I think people try and play sometimes in black women's faces because they know if you pop back and give them that interaction and they get it off, then you are, they win either way. If you don't say anything, they get to make their point. If you do say anything, then you are an angry black woman. So, it's kind of a lose-lose.
Yeah, I think that's par for course for being a politician.
True. I do believe that.
I do understand, her being a black woman or whatnot. But I think it could have been a white dude right there. Like I said, Governor Newsom is getting flack too.
I agree. I agree. I'm not saying that it wouldn't happen. These are what the people are saying and kind of, Yvette's position. Meanwhile, they're also pointing out on the other side of the spectrum, right? Khloé's sister, who considers herself a little social justice warrior. I shouldn't say that. But no, Kim is out there making demands for higher wages for the incarcerated firefighters that have been assisting with the California wildfires. Now, there were reports that some workers were being paid as little as $1 an hour and that the pay has been the same since 1984. Kim put up a post on Instagram and says that, many have died. It's never been raised. There was a year where the agreement to raise the incarcerated firefighter pay to $5 an hour, but it got shot down at the last minute. And she says she's urging Governor Newsom, combining the names, to do what no governor has done in 4 decades and raise the incarcerated firefighter pay to a rate that honors a human being risking their lives to save our lives and homes. And obviously, we know what spurned this. She went on to say, I've spent the last week watching my city burning and have seen and spoken to many firefighters who are up all night using every ounce of their strength to save our community. Thank you to Cal Fire LA, LA County Fire, and Los Angeles City Fire for everything you are doing to save lives, homes, and property. On all 5 fires in Los Angeles, there are hundreds of incarcerated firefighters risking their lives to save us. They are on the Palisades Fire and Eaton Fire in Pasadena working 24-hour shifts. They get paid almost nothing, risk their lives. Some have died to prove to the community that they have changed and now are first responders. I see them as heroes. Lastly, I want to she goes on. So here's a little fact checking per a former incarcerated California firefighter prison inmate. One, they do get a rate of about $4 or $5 an hour. What happens is the stipend is what he believes she's speaking of, that they get on top of that while they are on these 24-hour jobs. There's other things that he went into as to how they are selected. They're volunteer to be in this program. They have to have no more than 8 years on their record, on their time left, and a couple of other things. Obviously, no arson-related crimes, not violent crimes, things of that nature. So she is not wrong, but she's not quite right, but definitely on opposite ends of the spectrum, while Kim is focusing on solutions, perhaps, or, how to be preventative in this. Khloé's just complaining. But let me know your thoughts on this. Was Yvette in the wrong? Or was she just stating her feelings, much like Khloé was stating hers? And does it matter that Khloé in the past was a water waster? Contributing to the dry conditions that are Southern California. I want to know all of that.